unique marketing approach to selling homes and share with you our expertise in navigating the home buying process. We value the experience of our agents at Boston Connect Real Estate so much that not only will you hear my perspective on real estate topics, occasionally you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of our experienced agents at Boston Connect Real Estate. Be a part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you like to listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with me at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate. And good morning to all my South Shore neighbors. This is Sharon McNamara. You are, of course, listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. And I haven't done an intro in a long time, but I'm letting my co-host rest her voice a little bit because Mel is sick again. Oh, my
Nobody
goodness.
wants to hear me.
Yeah, not that we don't want to hear you.
I'm here for emotional support today.
I know. Well, I told you that Tim and I could handle the show if you didn't want to do this. So if you're feeling sick during it, feel free to just get up and leave. Because, Tim, you'll help me out, won't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, ladies. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sending you some Ricola through the microphone,
Thank
Melissa,
you.
if I can.
I know.
Might be a little
Thank
sticky.
you.
Just be careful.
Yeah, just be careful. Maybe I can make you a chicken soup or something. But yeah, you're listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. Again, I'm Sharon McNamara, broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate. And I have my sidekick here with me today, Melissa Wallace. She is the Director of Operations and Agent Relations. And of course, we have Tim McKinney, who is at WATD. He is our go-to guy for, everything we need on a Saturday over at WATD. And he's in the Marshfield studio, nice and cozy, while we're here in our home studio at Boston Connect Real Estate office right here in Pembroke Center. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, it's a good day, right? So tell me about the weather.
Yeah.
I never get a chance to listen to the weather. So I use
know.
my first couple minutes with you.
The weather today, this morning, what we've got right now, we got some clouds. It's kind of bright out there. But as we get through the day into the afternoon, we're going to have some rain come in. But it's going to, a drizzle ending tonight, followed by breaking clouds. It should be enough to dry us out so we won't have any icy conditions. And then tomorrow, we start out sunny, then the clouds thicken up, and the snow's going to develop later in the afternoon. Maybe a little rain will mix in at the onset, but it's going to be mainly snow, about 3 to 5 inches forecasted for the South Shore area. And it'll be overnight in early Monday morning. Might be an early flurry, but lots of sunshine, and the cold's gonna kick back in on Monday. 22 degrees.
Oh yeah, and
but at least it'll be sunny.
Do the kids have school on Monday? Is Monday a holiday?
It is a holiday.
So that's good. So they don't have to
do.
miss a day, right? Because it might ultimately be a snow day, but.
Well, usually if it's just 5 inches, that's plowable and you can get rid of it. And it's like, sorry, you're going to school.
Yeah. Well, here's the funny thing. Mackenzie moved to Dallas, my daughter, Mackenzie. So she is the director of health and wellness over there at University of Texas, Dallas. And she's actually in town right now. She actually presented at a conference in the city. But they had some snow there the other day and last week. And it was like, she goes, they're predicting an inch or two and everything is closed.
Oh, no.
They didn't know what to do.
2 inches of snow. No. Shut everything down. But it's down there. It's different. See, up here in New England, we're used to it when we prepared. Texas is like, we don't get that much snow.
Yeah, so they're not prepared for it. And, even like her car, so she was living in Rhode Island beforehand. Obviously, her car is equipped with like snow tires and stuff. She should probably get those off, right? But
she doesn't need them. She'll be fine.
Yeah, she doesn't need
Just
them.
don't do 80. You'll be okay.
Well, what we said to her was, even though you're prepared, no one else there knows how to drive in the snow. Yeah. So, just don't go out.
Yeah,
just
don't go out.
Don't do
Or just be prepared to do 15 miles an hour down the highway with an inch of snow.
Yeah, exactly. So, but, talking about being prepared for the snow and all that, it's just sort of a great segue into what our conversation is going to be today. So we're going to talk about how weather impacts home ownership and navigating home buying and home selling during the winter months. We're going to give you some really good tips on that, things to look out for. Are there pros to buying in the winter? I think yes.
Well, I'll tell you my story about last night with my weather.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
So when it gets cold outside, things want to come
Baby.
inside.
Baby.
Oh, yeah, baby, it's cold. When it gets cold outside, there are some creatures that want to come inside and get warm.
Yeah.
Well, it's the first time I have a mouse in my house.
Oh, really?
There's a mouse in my house. And
You
I have two
cats. I mean,
Oh,
come on.
yeah, they're on it. They
are
they
they? I
are
was gonna say.
determined to find it.
I'm going to tell you because I was going to say you get some wimpy cats. You
Yeah.
better like toughen them guys
Oh,
up.
no, they are determined to find it. And I was like, oh my gosh, what do you do? There's a mouse in the house. There's a mouse in the house. And I'm like, it's normal.
Yep.
They're trying to get warm too. But I'm like, not my house. Go next door.
Well, and you know what? That's interesting because that is one of our maintenance tips that we talk about in general over, sometimes we talk about it mostly in the spring, but that's really a good segue into something that people should consider because I know last week, I believe it was last Friday, actually, not yesterday, but a week ago Friday, I used Safety Fumigant. They are out of Hingham. They are a wonderful, wonderful company. I will talk highly about them. Other than the fact I have asked them to come on the show with me several times, and they're like
They declined.
And I think that they're like shy, like they just who's going to talk? Well, you've been doing this for it's like your family business. You know how to talk about creatures.
Just talk to us about creatures.
Yeah, I think we're the least intimidating people out there, really. So. And I know our listeners think that. So if you have any questions for us, I know that we get our listeners that will call us occasionally. You can call into Tim, 781-837-4900, 781-837-4900. He'll pipe you over to us. Or you can go on any of our social media, Boston Connect Real Estate, Sharon McNamara. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you can find us on there. We're streaming live right now, so you can post a little comment, and we will see it right in front of us on our camera.
Yeah. Hi.
We're
waiting.
on TV, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're waiting. Yeah, so like I said, it was my first time being like, oh my gosh, I've totally forgot that like a mouse can come in a house.
Did you just hear it or did you see
Yeah,
it?
we can hear it. So, when I was living, I mean, I wouldn't say normal, but like it happens, like a mouse gets in the house. So, not a huge deal, but when we lived with Mary and Sam, we always knew that there was a mouse somewhere because Zoe would just stare at like a cabinet or something. Like you would just stare at something, and then lo and behold, it would show up.
Yeah.
And we get rid of it. So last night, the two of them staring.
Oh yeah, so you
staring and then all of a sudden I hear.
Well, I have some, you should really call, a company because, like I said, Safety Fumigant was at my house. They come quarterly, I think it is, and they just check, different.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I have mouse traps. Maybe, yeah, I have mouse traps because you know what? We have dog food in the basement.
Yeah.
That's why I have containers and stuff for the dog food. And if anything spills over, I try if I'm not in a rush to like pick it up.
Yeah.
But they'll, like you shouldn't have bird seed. That's a tip right there. Like,
excuse me, Melissa. You said you have mice. Don't you have cats?
yeah,
Yeah,
they're wimpy.
they're ready. They are ready to. They just can't see it. It's like you can hear it. I think it's making its way up to the attic or something.
Okay.
And
so they hunt by sight, not by sound. They got to see it to believe
no,
it.
they know that it's there.
All right. Oh, okay.
The two of them are staring at the wall like I know that something like they are going nuts, and we're like, okay, we're just gonna find them in the corner all night, and that's where they sat. They sat there all night.
I literally loved him. I do. I love him. He's just so funny to me. Like they hunt by sight, not by sound.
Oh no, they can hear it. They
Good.
They can hear
I'm gonna
it,
say
so.
cats usually is like what is that?
Yeah. And, here's the thing, too, is like if you see, I remember when we lived in Dorchester, there was a mouse problem, probably for different reasons than being cold outside, but there were mice in the walls.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing them scratching and stuff like that. And then I don't know if it was my father or who it was had like bright ideas, but they actually had like little holes, like you would see like in the cartoons, you know what I mean? Like Tom and Jerry, like that little hole. So like somebody put like stuffed it, but that was, I think, again, I'm no expert on this, but I wouldn't do that because then
it dies in the wall.
It dies in the wall. And I'm telling you, I can't even imagine what the smell of a human body rotten is inside someone's house like a murderer.
Yeah.
I watched 2020 last night.
gosh.
It was a good one. Oh. But I fall asleep before I find out every time. But I knew.
So it's still a mystery for
No,
you.
it
It's
is.
unsolved
Yeah,
mysteries.
it's
That's
almost
what
like
you're watching.
It's almost like you know. Yeah, when the
It was the
person,
husband.
no, it was the wife actually. And when you don't see her live in the interviews, then you sort of
Then you
know
know.
who it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. So, anyways, with the mice, yeah, don't do that for sure. But again, getting back to maintenance for, just making sure, that is really a good one because I didn't even have that on my list. But if you have somebody come in and just maintaining that type of stuff, again, I started to say bird seed. Like you shouldn't keep bird seed in your basement, in your sheds, unless you want mice in your shed, in your garage, any of those areas. So I know, like Mark loves his, his bird feeder and everything. So I got like a metal one because mice can get through plastic.
Yeah.
Right. So like I got a metal container, like with a lid. Just those metal trash barrels. You know, like Oscar the
Grouch
is in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you call him?
Oscar.
The grouse.
The Grouch. It's Oscar the Grouch. Oscar.
Hey, Oscar. Hey, how you doing? How's the trash can? Hey, come on.
Oscar.
Hey, Oscar.
How do you say that? How do you say it for real?
Just
Oscar?
Oscar.
Oscar.
Yeah, put the R on it.
Oh,
Put the R.
Oscar.
Yeah, you just throw
I didn't
the
know if it
R
was
on the
an-
back of it.
I didn't know if it was an ER or an
It's
AR.
all right, Miss Dorchester. It's
Oh,
okay.
yeah, no, it's an
Don't
AR.
worry.
Yeah, Oscar.
Oscar.
See, it doesn't sound right. Oscar.
But yeah, I mean, that's a good idea, is to have somebody come annually. I mean, even if you don't even really see anything, I took when we had our hornet's nest underneath the deck, I did notice that there was one that was no longer active hanging from the gutter in the back of my house. And Joe took care of that one too.
Yeah.
But, thank God for Joe.
Yeah. Joe's our maintenance man.
Yeah,
He does
Joe's
our
our
yard
maintenance
work.
man. Yeah. So, just taking a walk around. I mean, how many times have you told the story about taking a walk around at your house and seeing the crack up your chimney, But those are things that you should do sort of annually. Karen Monroe says, Dorchester girl.
I know. Hello, Karen. Karen, I have to call you today. I miss you so. Karen is my one of my best friends, and yeah. So we try to go out to dinner once a month.
Yeah.
This show is really not about anything but me. So we usually
And
try
my mouse.
to once a month, but they end up going out more often than me because a lot of times I am working in different things. But we can't go out until February because apparently Kim is doing dry January.
Oh.
Yeah. So God forbid if we went out to
fun
dinner
in
in January and Kim drank a seltzer water.
Yeah.
So, but some of the other things that, when it comes to winter, I mean, when people are thinking about the winter months, and this is, if you're navigating home buying or home selling, in those winter months, some of the challenges and strategies of what we're going to be talking about during the winter months, just some seasonal maintenance tips, which we have Melissa who just told us one right there. So, and I would say quarterly is generally when you would do it because you want to check for termites and things like that as well. And then just specific concerns like frozen pipes, snow damage, and maintaining curb appeal, which is all really important. So I guess for the first 10 minutes here, we can talk about the impact of snow and ice. Should we talk about like during showings, or should I talk about like some of the maintenance stuff first? What do you think? I wish we had a vote button.
A vote?
Yeah.
Take a vote.
a
Give us
vote.
a call.
Well, we'll talk about some of the seasonal tips. Do you want to do that? Okay, we'll talk about the seasonal tips first, and then we'll go back to the challenges of home selling.
The first one is a great one for Mark McNamara.
Yeah, well, I was
owner
talking
of McNamara Plumbing.
Yeah, we were up at I was up at 4:15 this morning, but he got up about 6 o'clock, and I was like, hey, give me some ideas about this. So I actually came up with the frozen pipes one.
Oh yeah. All right, so tell us about frozen pipes. How what happens when your pipes freeze, and can you prevent them?
Yeah, so this is one of the things that you should do regardless if you're selling your house or not, but it's certainly something that you should think about when you are buying a home. So everybody should be having a home inspection. It's a new law now in Massachusetts as well that a seller cannot prevent a home or not accept somebody's offer based on the fact that they're not having a home inspection. How they monitor that, I don't know. Maybe we should do the show next week on that. We met some people. We went to a seminar.
Yeah.
I can never say his last name, but we should give him a shout out. Shant.
Benosian,
something like that,
Benosian.
from Guaranteed Rate. He's wonderful. He had an event this weekend.
We
we
got
got
1,500
invited.
people.
Yeah, we got invited
very
to
nice.
go. It was really, really nice. So thank you, Shant. I appreciate you and your team. You do such a great job. So thank you for inviting us. He is a loan officer, again, at Guaranteed Rate. So if you just put Shant in, SHANT, his name will pop up. I promise you, because he is the leading loan officer, I think, in the country.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, him and his team.
He's
so
big time. And
he's
you
a
know,
big time.
one of the things that I really, he's licensed in several states. I don't know how this became about Shant, but hey, we're here and maybe we should have him on the show one day. But one of the things I loved is that they just brought on a bilingual Spanish speaking loan officer.
Yeah.
So everything can be done. So I really, really like
the
that.
entire loan process
Yeah.
can be in Spanish.
Yeah, which I think is really, really great. So helping with, Hispanics and Latinos, with the home buying process and home ownership, which is really, really important. So kudos to him and his team. But frozen pipes, is that where I was?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're looking for a house, I think having a home inspection is really important. We have always suggested that our buyers have home inspections. In fact, during the times when people were getting, some of their agents were giving them the suggestion or the advice that they shouldn't have a home inspection because their offer would get accepted. We had a meeting with our agents, and I said, if your client chooses not to have a home inspection, here's a waiver that basically says that this was their idea and not our idea, because we think that everybody should have a home inspection or, at least to know that they can have one. But there is a new law, so we met somebody at this event, and we're going to try to get him on to talk about that. But because, as you're having a home inspection, the home inspector might pick up on like, hey, there just seems to be very limited insulation in this area. Like I would say a frog, which is a family room over the garage. Maybe if it's open and you can see that there's no insulation in between there. Certain areas that might be very drafty, or sometimes people will have a porch and then they will, enclose the porch and then they'll open up the wall. The next person has the idea to open up the wall, but it's still a porch. It's not on a foundation and there's no insulation or anything like that under it. So those are all areas where pipes can freeze. Under the sink, I've heard Mark talk about that a lot, underneath the sink where people will get frozen pipes. You just have to make sure if you have anything on an outside wall that you have plenty of insulation around those pipes. And of course, anything below freezing, which would be 32 degrees. I asked him too. I was like, does it need to be 32 degrees or under 32 degrees for a certain amount of time? He's like, long enough for it to freeze.
Yeah.
That's a Mark McNamara answer.
Also, opening the cabinet might help a little bit, right?
Yeah. That will get some heat through there. And if you're going on vacation and you know that it's God bless you. If you're going on vacation and you know that you're not going to be home, a good idea. Maybe I heard like to let the water drip, so at least something's moving. One of my pet peeve things is, this is sort of weird. This is something that you may or may not know about me. When I leave the house, I tend to take the strainer out of like the kitchen sink and I just like sort of put it aside. I'm always afraid like if the sink ever went on, like the water would be running and then it would overflow.
You know what's interesting? I'm surprised that you do that because a lot of people who live in the cities, like New York or Boston, they plug it up because like insects and stuff can come up the pipes.
I'd rather insects than water flowing all over my kitchen floor.
Or a mouse.
Yeah, I guess. So that's your frozen pipes. Again, you're listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. I'm Sharon McNamara, the broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate. And again, I am a full-time real estate agent. So if you are thinking about buying or selling a home, you can always call me 781-294-4848. But if you want to talk to me and Mel right now, if you have some ideas about, things to think about or navigate during the winter months when you're buying or selling a home, you can get through to WATD at 781-837-4900. And, that's what you can do, and you can get a call over to us. I just saw that Karen wrote, it was me who picked February. Oh, is she doing dry? I'm not picking on Karen. I mean, honestly, threes usually don't work. Those two are like best friends. And I know that like they just tell me I am because they want me to feel good. Yeah. I'm not making fun of your friend. Love you both. Okay. So you want to insulate the pipes in the basement, the crawl spaces, and attics using foam or fiberglass. And be sure that you're putting the insulation in the correct way. There is a right way. There is a wrong way. Is the paper supposed to be up or down? Read the directions. I don't want to give any advice in case I'm wrong. But you could also do Mass Save, right? So you could do Mass Save, and they'll go through and do that. You know, it's interesting because my front foyer, it's not a big foyer. It's like a small little area, like where I have a closet there where you come in my front door. I'll tell you,
Which I've never noticed ever.
Really?
In 9 years.
Yeah, so there's a closet there. When you open that closet, it's freezing in there.
Oh,
it's
no
really,
insulation?
apparently not. So I think maybe we should do something about that. Also, look too around the house when you are buying a home. You know, look and see where the heat is. You know, if anything is being built now, then certainly there are codes and zoning of like how much heat you need in certain rooms. But I know, like our house was built in 1992, and it's interesting because there really was no heat in the kitchen. There was no baseboard in the kitchen. So it's strange. Mark ended up putting something underneath the sink, like a kick space heater. But yeah, make sure that you're keeping your eyes open for things like that, especially if you're buying a home in the summer, you're not thinking about the heat, but vice versa. If you're buying a home in the winter, you want to make sure, that you're asking questions and looking about the air conditioning. And it says what to do. I don't even know if I really want to give this information, but like what to do if a pipe does freeze. You want to turn off the water supply to prevent bursting. I think that's a good idea. Have you ever seen a burst pipe from like inside a house?
I think like Mark has shown me pictures.
Yeah, wild. It is literally wild because water, when it freezes, it expands, and then it can, it just like it just opens up the pipe, like just opens it up. And I remember during the foreclosure times, what was that, 15 years ago, and I remember going into a house I was going to be the listing agent on it, and the guy just like walked away from the house, but the bank said that they had winterized it, and I went in there from the top floor all the way down to the basement to the water heater and the heating system. Every single pipe in that house had cracked and burst.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I have video of that somewhere. I should find that. What's next? Mechanical systems?
Yeah. Heating systems. So ensure the furnace or boiler is serviced and working efficiently. How often do you get yours?
Well, I'm married to a plumber, so like if something sort of happens, I sort of have him right there.
You have an advantage.
Yeah, I do with that. But, but we have oil in our house, which Mark does not like, but we don't have any other option. So we do have to have it cleaned out. I mean, generally once a year we'll have that cleaned out, and we have Detuli oil that does that. And he's great. That's who delivers our oil, and he will clean our system for us. I can hear him and Mark down there all the time, once a year anyways. Doing that. So you just want to make sure. I mean, the better you take care of things, the longer they'll last. So you definitely want to do that. And then I'll just stick with this thing with the chimney. You talked about like how I had seen a crack that was several years ago now, and it's just because I never walked on that side of the house. But certainly you want to be looking for those things, inside and out. But you should have your chimney checked, just to make sure, does it have to be cleaned or anything like that. But like we have 2 flues in our chimney, and one is for the heating system and then one is for the fireplace. And I woke up a couple days ago, and I don't know if it was like a backdraft. I'm talking like I'm a firefighter.
Yeah.
I'm just making that up. I'm guessing that's what it's called. But like all I could smell was oil in the house, and it's because we have the 2 flues, so it was like coming through. So we have to make sure, on windy days that we shut the flue so it doesn't come through. I'm hot.
Yeah, you're sweating. You're not doing well. I'm not doing well. We're getting through this. We're getting through it together. Something I want to talk about, well, we were talking about winter, so, making sure that you clean out your gutters before, to prevent ice dams. I feel like we had a very windy, fall, and I noticed that my gutters were, full with leaves and stuff. So I had Joe come and, clean out the gutters and everything, and making sure that, there's no problems this winter, because that could be a big problem.
I just had mine cleaned, actually. And this is sad. I don't know the name of his company, but it's Michael Parks, and he cleans gutters. So I will have to get the name of his company. I'll actually text his mother right now and see. But I think that that is a really, really, really good idea. So Michael is local. We were supposed to have him on the show a few weeks ago, but we didn't because I think you did the show for me and I wasn't here or something like that happened. But yeah, I'm going to get the name of his company right now. But definitely, that's a good idea. And you probably don't even recall like the days when we saw a lot of ice dams and it was almost like commonplace. Like if you saw like in the corner of the living room, you saw all the ceiling stained. It would be like, oh, did you have ice dams in 2014? Yes, I did. And that is because of what you just brought up.
Yeah.
So even if you don't have a lot of trees around, you know, birds fly and birds like to make nests. So a lot of times you have nests in there too. So
Yeah, you could have critters in there.
yeah.
I feel like the word of the day is critters.
Okay.
You have critters in the house trying to get in. You got critters coming up your pipes. Critters in the gutters too. But yeah, no, really important. I mean, I remember, when was it? Like 2015 or 2006? Like when it would not stop snowing. It was so
Yeah.
bad.
14, I think it was. 14,
And
13, 14.
I know my aunt had really bad ice dams. I mean, she had to leave her house and, had to sort of redo her whole side of, the back side of her house because it was, she had water damage on all three levels. So.
Well, that was a problem because, like, it would, like, the ice would, when the snow happened and then when things were melting, it would be, like, in the corners generally is where it would happen. And then it would go up the shingles. So it would, like, get up underneath the shingles and then it would, like, continue. So I think it's called Mike's Gutters and More. So it might be Mighty Mike's, or maybe Mike's Gutters and More. So, anyways,
Very nice. Yeah, so he came, Mighty Mike's. There you go.
yeah, Mighty Mike's Gutters and More. So, yeah, he did a great job. He came over, measured it up, told me how many feetage I had.
Footage?
Yeah. Yeah. His phone number, by the way, if you are thinking about getting your gutters done, because he can do it when it's warm weather. We do get periodically get some of those. It's 781-588-8300, 781-588-8300. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah, that's great. I mean, local here, and you can come and clean out your gutters and more.
Yeah.
I wonder what else the more is, but we'll find that out.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have him do some stuff here. Remember, I'm going to have him take down my lights.
Oh,
my
well, there you go.
Christmas
There's
lights.
the more.
Yeah, and there's the more. This is a big one for me about window screens. So I guess that there's two trains of thought on window screens. I like to take my window screens out in the winter because, sometimes when especially like if you're in an area that's sort of open, so like, when the snow is like flying and sometimes it like sticks to the screens. But then as it's coming off, sometimes it like pulls and nags at the screens. So like I hate those little pulls and everything. So I like to take the screens off of my windows. And then I actually said to Mark, I was like, oh my gosh, I took the screens out recently and I put them by the bulkhead to put into the basement and I forgot. And he goes, they're in the basement. So he took care of it for me. But some people like to keep them on because maybe they think like if their windows are drafty, that maybe that will help, with some of the wind. But I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, it's a screen. Won't the wind go through it? Maybe not as much. It won't impact because then I guess the alternative to not having the snow on your screens, you might get that buildup on your windows. So I guess it's your choice.
Yeah, we didn't take the screens out because I have the storm. I have the storm window. So we just pulled that down.
Yeah.
So, and it helps with, keeping the heat in and everything. So, so we don't have any snow sticking to our screens, but yeah, that's what we did. Yeah. So that's an option.
Yeah. So some of the things we'll bump over to concerns that maybe home buyers have, or actually we'll talk about the challenges for the home sellers now. So challenges that home sellers may have during the winter months is the impact of the snow and ice on showings. A lot of times people don't want to have their house on the market this time of year because if it does snow, they feel as if they don't want to have people going through their house and, having wet boots and bringing in the mud and blah, blah, blah. So there are ways to prevent that. I mean, one is we tell everybody that they have to take off their shoes, or we can always have those little booties there for them so that they can have their booties there, have the booties there so they don't get your floors all wet. But you could also put like a carpet there, an area rug. I suggest that anyways, that you have an area rug there.
When you first walk in?
Yeah, when you first walk in. Yeah. I mean, honestly, you can go to Ocean State Job Lot and you can and Ocean State Job Lot is everywhere now. Apparently, they took over every single one of the Christmas tree shop
stores. Oh, really?
Yeah. So, yeah, they have the big ones for like $10. So, and if you're a real estate agent, maybe it's a good idea for us to just buy a bunch of those, keep them in your car. And
bring them for open houses.
Bring them for open houses and everything so people can wipe their feet when they get in there. Especially the other thing, too, is you have to think about, and I say this in new construction all the time when I'm doing my final walkthroughs with people, is especially in a new construction active site, like there's a lot of stones around and things, but in the winter, like if somebody has boots with a lot of like with the tracks on the bottom or sneakers or anything like that, rock salt, anything like that you can pick up and it will maybe stick into your sneaker or your shoe or your boot. You really don't want people walking around your house with that if you have hardwood floors, especially because it could scratch up the floors. So I think having some type of a, little carpet or rug or something right there as you come in the door is really important to do.
Faith Birmingham, who is a full-time realtor here at Boston Connect Real Estate, is watching, and she said, no screens in winter help let more light in my house, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that too, Faith. I was thinking about that too. I like having the sun in the house, and when I put that as one of my considerations, I was using ChatGPT to help me with some of my ideas. And it said that because sometimes people don't like the glare of the winter sun coming through their windows. I'm like, who? So I didn't put it in my agenda because I can't think of one person that doesn't like sun gleaming through their windows. Maybe someone who works nights.
Yeah.
That's
maybe
someone
who has to sleep during the day.
Yeah, just someone who has to sleep during the day. That's the only person I can think of, but I do agree. And you want to talk about being a full-time real estate agent here at Boston Connect Real Estate. Faith is like beyond full-time today, so we will, I think, talk at the end of the show. She has 3 open houses today and 3 open houses tomorrow. So, she is definitely full-time. So, so you definitely don't want to not have your house on the market because of that. So we certainly can get around different things. The big one for me with having your house on the market in the winter is the risk and the liability, and as a real estate agent, I always tell my agents, I don't think that none of us are really allowed to do any of the snow, like shoveling.
Yeah.
I think in Massachusetts, the law is, he who holds the shovel last is the one that owns that liability and that risk. And, I think that I was looking this law up this morning as well in Massachusetts, and it said, with the amount of snow, like, was it passable? But then, like, if somebody shovels, like, let's just say you got 5 inches of snow, which is predicted, and then the agent went in or the homeowner and shoveled, but it would have been safer to walk on the snow than it was on where they shoveled because then it turned into ice and they slipped and fell. So we just don't think, for us as real estate agents, I don't want to take on that responsibility. As a broker, I do come from a mindset of risk and liability. Of course, I don't want anyone to get hurt. So safety always comes first, but we do tell our homeowners that that is their responsibility.
Yeah. I'm just looking. So you're looking at the cameras at your house, and it has a warning at the beginning. So we could talk about this too. Freezing weather can affect your device's battery life.
Yeah.
So if you have cameras or floodlights or anything in the exterior of your home, the battery could freeze too. So I would, look into that as well because, if you try to go outside and take the trash out or something at nighttime, take the dog out, there might not be light. So if you bring a flashlight.
Yeah, absolutely. I was watching Shark Tank last night. They had a really good flashlight on there. But that's why I don't keep my laptops in my car.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't want that to happen. Yeah, the reason why I put my camera up is because I just got a warning. Where were we? Oh, with the shoveling and the sand and salt. So of course you want to have sand and salt. Here's the other thing. Read the directions on all of this salt. One, yes, it can be hazardous to animals, right? So if you have dogs, then the dogs are going to be bringing it into your house. So what's that going to do to your hardwood floors and your tile and anything else that you have in the house? And then if you let them up on your sofa or in your bed or whatever, you're definitely going to have, they'll have that on their paws. But most importantly, you don't want it on their paws because you don't want them to lick it off. So make sure that it is environmentally safe for them as well, and the environment. But you also want to check to make sure what can that rock salt go on, if it's rock salt or whatever the different types are, what type of material can it go on. So I did have a listing one time and it became a big fiasco because somebody was using the person, not the landscaper, but the people who were plowing, they put rock salt on all of the stairs, and the stairs were like a slate and a granite or something, but at the top level, and it literally destroyed it. A lot of times when I'm going into homes as well, when I'm working as a buyer's agent, if I see like the front steps, a lot of times people let you in on the side door, but if you're buying a house, you should also look at the front door and the front steps. They had brick. A lot of people will have brick, and they use that rock salt on the brick, and it deteriorates the brick. So you want to definitely make sure that you're reading that. So sand is a very good alternative. So it's good, so you can just put down some sand. It will help with the slipping and sliding, and you can just, when spring comes or a nice warm day, you can just blow it away. So that's another one. Good morning, everybody. Again, I am Sharon McNamara. I am the broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate, and I am here with my sidekick, although she has left the room for a minute there. She is not feeling good today. But if you have any questions for us or any comments about any of these items, please feel free to call 781-837-4900, or you can go on to any of our sites that we have, social media. We don't use TikTok, so we're not really concerned about what happens tomorrow. Sorry about that for everybody who does love TikTok. But we are on Facebook, Instagram, and you can find us at Boston Connect Real Estate. You can find me on Sharon Costa McNamara. So you'll be able to find us, and you can say hello like Karen always does. So so that was that about the rock salt. And you just want to make sure that it is nice and safe when people do come into the house. But again, that brings us back to putting down sand and then people coming into your house. That's why you should have that little scatter rug at the front door.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea, actually.
Yeah, I know.
We should bring that up in our office meeting.
Yeah, we should bring that up. Maybe I should just buy a bunch of them and tell agents and give one to each of the agents.
Yeah,
just,
maybe.
What a nice thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go to the process of getting something made with Boston Connect logo on it.
Then people will be wiping their feet on us.
Yeah, but then they'll remember us. Like, wow, that was really thoughtful of that company to think.
I will look into that for you.
Okay. In the meantime, I'll just get the $10 ones.
And maybe have a Roomba on standby, too.
Yeah. We come with a Roomba. Hey, listen, we should do a show on the things that we do. We are going to have a funny show, though, because we want to do some stuff. We were at the event the other day about video and stuff, and we were just talking on the way home. Faith was with us as well. Again, Faith Birmingham. She's a full-time agent here at Boston Connect Real Estate. Kristen Howellette, who is also a full-time, was supposed to come with us, but she wasn't feeling good either. And Susan Bollinger, of course, full-time real estate agent. She's been a host here many times. So the four of us went, and I don't even remember where my thought was. Video. We were talking about video, and then we just started talking about like some of the things that have happened in our life as a real estate agent. So,
oh my gosh,
yeah,
we're writing a book, and we're going to do a whole show on it.
Yeah, we're going to video it. So, okay, so that might be something that people are concerned about. I wonder if sellers don't want to put their house on the market because they think, well, no one's really buying a house this time of year. They're waiting until the spring.
Yeah, that's not true.
Who do you think is looking for a house right now? Probably the most serious, right?
Yeah. The most serious, yeah.
Yeah, the most serious buyers are looking for a house right now.
And we've talked about, like, notoriously this time of year, the higher price homes tend to go a little bit more quickly because people are relocating. People are, the kids are on their break and they want to make sure that they get into a school system before it starts up again. So, and that's for people who are really relocating for jobs. And they're only going to be in the house for a couple years, typically. Somebody who, moves because of a job, they tend to move every, 5 or so years. So I think they're less picky. I don't know if picky's a word, but like less
they're just
selective.
Well, I think that they're not looking at it as a home, like this is my lifetime home, like, you know what I mean, my forever home. They look at it as for what it is. It's interim housing for me, while I'm at this job. That's C-level, they tend to, executive, they tend to, move around. I think there's going to be a whole lot of relocating going on, though, because I was actually watching the news this morning and, a conversation came up about California and, some of those houses that like Malibu Beach there, like the ones like right on the water there, I can't imagine that they're going to allow them to build there again. Reminds me of like Peggotty Beach and all those houses that had come down. There used to be a road that went through there down the end of it. I just don't know how that's going to happen. And I just think, what is the impact of those fires and what is going to happen to all those people? Mark actually pulled up the other day something on HomeSnap or homes.com, and it just showed like all the houses that were on the market before this even happened, and now they have nothing. But they were predicting 5 years for people to like get their houses back up and running. And Mark and I were talking. I personally think a lot longer, maybe because I do a lot of new construction. That
the amount of
but that many people build, like you only have so many builders.
Well, I was also thinking, I thought about this the other day, especially the ones like in Malibu, like right on the cliffs and stuff. It's like the house is gone, but you still own the land.
You
but
still
like,
have a mortgage.
What happens if like you just said, they're not going to allow you to build another house right there?
Yeah. So
then what happens?
You have a really good place for lawn chairs.
Yeah.
You have a $10 million lot for lawn chairs.
Yeah.
That's what you got. It's sad. I don't even know. I just don't know. I mean, you think about the devastation and you look at all those houses that are just absolutely destroyed. I have 2 subdivisions. One is 92 units and one is 40 units. And it's taken us, 3-4 years to just build that many houses.
Yeah.
So I guess in a way, when we're talking about relocation, I guess relo is going to work both ways. Maybe there'll be some people that will move into the area to help with the construction because there's just going to be a need for it. But there'll be a lot of people who are just like, yeah, I'm out. Like I don't know, like my kids, like there is no school or, where are they going to go? Well, where are we going to live? How many rentals do they actually have in California and how much are they? I heard that too. And that disgusts me.
Oh, the price gouging?
Yeah. The rent's going up really high and making it really difficult for people. So I think that a lot of people will be relocating out of California. I doubt very much that, well, maybe they will come to Massachusetts. Who knows? I don't know where they will end up.
I don't know.
But they could get a whole lot more for their money in other states. I mean, they're very close to, obviously, Texas and things like that. So, they could probably move that way if they wanted to. Arizona.
Yeah, but, think about what we talked about or saw the presentation the other day is, there were, $4.5 million buyers last year. And now think about everybody who's displaced and competing or also needing a place to stay along with those 4.5 million buyers. So that's something that we have to consider this year.
Yeah.
Is the inventory.
Inventory is still really low in our area as well, which is why if you're a seller, this is, any time is a good time to put your house on the market because you're going to have a lot of buyers looking, and I think serious buyers are looking all the time. Do more buyers come out in the spring? And this is one thing that they sort of brought up the other day too, and it's something that we've discussed in the past is, do we have more buyers in the spring based on, families who have children and they're sort of contemplating and figuring out when school will start and they want the kids to be starting in school. So, around here we say that, spring market starts the Sunday after Super Bowl Sunday, right? I mean, the Monday after Super Bowl Sunday, which is generally the first or second weekend in February.
Yeah.
In spring market, I think that people just think of, the daffodils are coming up and, we have a green lawn and we have all these things. And that's one of the things that people consider. So I know that that's on our list somewhere too, is, people maybe don't want to come on the market in the winter because of curb appeal. And that's why in the fall, when we talk about things to do, one of the items that we say is, get the big wheel out of the front yard, get the basketball out of the front yard, get, all your stuff out of the front yard.
Mm-hmm.
So, when it does snow, you should be getting all your leaves up and all that other stuff. So when it does snow, snow can look pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the curb appeal, I mean, especially, someone who has a pool or has a garden or, the curb appeal, I'm sure, is more appealing in the spring. But take pictures. Like, if your expectation, not everybody decides, oh, you know what, I'm going to put my house on the market today.
Mm-hmm.
Some people generally know a little bit beforehand, or, things in their lives are changing. So, maybe in a year I want to do this. So take some pictures of, or even if you are in contact with a realtor, have them, their photographer come out and take some beautiful pictures of your greenery outside, or if you have land, and, show the house in the best light.
One of the things too is that I really don't like pictures with snow in them. I mean, they're okay for a certain amount of time, but generally speaking, if 90 days, the house sells in 90 days and there's no snow to be had anywhere in the spring. I hate when I can see those winter photos, because it can sort of date the house, just sort of like we've talked before with like decorations and things like that. But, one of the things, you can't see the landscaping and everything that you were just talking about. So you don't know if there's a lawn underneath. So when we get to the buyers, I mean, you think about perspective, right? So buyers are thinking of that too. Like, hey, I can't see if there's a lawn under there after this all melts. How am I supposed to put, an offer in on it? That's why, it would be nice to have some photos of what it actually looks like. Don't enhance them, with all this AI stuff where you can enhance things and put things where they definitely are. Don't, Photoshop out what are those high tension wires and everything in the back. But one of the other things is like patios and pools. So like Mark and I have our pool area. Pool is obviously closed. If we were to put the house on the market, obviously, one of the suggestions I would have for people before that happened, and we talked about that in the fall, have your pool company close it. They have record of it, that everything was working in running order. Take some pictures so people can see the liner, what it looks like, but also the patio.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Even when my house, I think it went on like late September, early October, and the backyard was, fully green. And I was able to see that. But by the time I closed, which was late November, it was brown. So because I guess it's Texas grass or something. I don't know what it's called. The kind of grass that's in the backyard of my house. And had I seen it, the brown, I'd be like, well, is it always brown? Like, does it come back?
Is it dried out? Yeah.
Did I do something wrong? But nope, came back all green.
Nice and green.
Nice and green. But I was able to see it green when I first saw my house for the first time. So, and I did not ruin it. So that was great.
Yeah. And your listing agent had really good pictures of it too.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that there was a patio underneath some of that stuff, but that's good that Ethan found that. So,
yeah.
And also to have lighting. It's really important to have some really good lighting in the winter months as well. So make sure that all your pathways and everything are really lit up nicely. Make sure, we talked about gutters earlier as well. And like I said, I just had mine cleaned recently with Michael Parks from Mighty Mike's Gutters and more.
And more.
and, making sure that he doesn't just clean them, he repairs them as well. But like your downspouts are going, and where is that water directing? And I'm specifically remembering this one house in Rockland that I was showing. I can see the clients, and it was sort of on an incline. And there was a downspout on the right side of the garage, and it was just going, like the water was just going into the driveway. It was a literal sheet of ice. Literal sheet of ice. So you want to make sure that those are all directing in the correct way. And you just want to make sure for the inside too, just have, make sure that you have the heat on, make sure that it's nice and warm. You want people to be able to stay. If it's cold, they're going to be like, I want to get out of here and get in my car.
Something must be wrong.
Yeah, I want to get in my car.
Something that I did want to say about even new construction, but for home buyers, is finding out if the road is public or private, if you have a shared driveway, and just finding out who's responsible for maintaining that and clearing the snow and everything. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit. Is there an HOA that you pay into, and they hire a business to come and plow, and do they do the walkways too? And so those are, great questions to ask when you're looking at even new construction or even a resale that has a private road.
Yeah, or a condo. You want to know how far they do plow or shovel up to. Some will do your driveway, some won't do your driveway, some will do your pathway, some won't, some will do your stairs, some won't. So you definitely want to look into that. The concerns that a buyer might have, and I'll go through these quickly because we only have a few minutes, but challenges during inspections. And this is something that, we talk about all the time. And that's why if you're putting your house on the market and there's no snow on the roof, and get your real estate agent out there. We have a drone, so we can get the drone up there. We can take some good photos of that, so people can at least see it. Or you can get somebody who's, get a roofing company up there, see if they'll give you some type of, letter of sorts, of what is going on at the time that they saw it. So, because when you have your home inspection, if there's snow up there, then they really can't see it. The other thing that's really hard to see is around the foundation if there's a lot of snow. So, just, take a little video map of your home on the exterior when that's happening. And then the advantage of buying in the winter, by the way, is that there are probably fewer buyers that are on the market. They're probably waiting to see if more things. Those are the people that are like, they have FOMO, fear of missing out. They're afraid to buy a house now because they don't know what's coming up. But nothing could come up, so you're better off doing that now. And it says that sellers are generally motivated this time of year. Some are, some aren't. It matters. It matters. I think the same. If someone's going to sell their house today, that specific person has the same motivation in the spring. I'm moving because of my business, or I'm moving, because I got a new job. Like those aren't going to change. Or I'm moving because of death, divorce, disability. That's it. Well, we didn't even get to talk about our perspective, but I guess the whole thing was our perspective.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions about anything, feel free to give us a call. 781-294-4848 is my cell phone number. We'll be back here next week. And don't forget to go on to bostonconnect.com. You can find all the open houses. I know Kristen Howlett is having an open house today.
Yep.
Faith Birmingham is having a couple open houses today. So make sure you go on to our website and find all of our open houses. Again, my phone number is 781-294-4848. Thanks, Tim.
Bye.
Bye. You're welcome.
Beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood. A neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be